Hola! Welcome to Harris Football. I'm with Chris Harris. His name's right there. His name's on the channel. How's it going, Chris?
Cristobal Harris. Yeah, very impressive. Clearly, the Spanish lessons, your kids, not lessons, your kids just learn in Spanish, clearly rubbing off, and you're practically bilingual now.
Yes, I can say hello. I can wave goodbye. I'm covered.
You're good. So hi, and thanks to everybody for watching. Hi. Hola.
Thanks for joining us in my new studio. I got it set up for you guys here right at the end of the year.
Well done. Looks nice.
So it's our normal Thursday show. We did an emergency episode too. Hopefully you guys liked that. But this is our normal Thursday show where we're going to talk about our DraftKings contest. But first, Chris, I was looking at your ranks to make my DraftKings lineup, and you still have Cole Beasley in like flex territory after a pretty stinker of a week. You're telling me to play Cole Beasley in the playoffs after what? 40 yards? Are you sure?
No, of course not. But I have him in the top 36 receivers. He's been very on and off, and that's been a little bit frustrating, but I can show you a little bit of why I expect Saturday to go okay for Beasley. Huge against the 49ers and Cardinals, on off, right? And then not so much against the Chargers and, like you said, the Steelers. But this big one that we just showed you against the Niners, what do we see? They're in zone. That's what they mostly do on defense, the 49ers. Beasley's going to run out of the slot. His job here isn't necessarily to run a fly pattern, but it's to find where the zone isn't, which he's really good at. And in this case, where the zone wasn't, led him to a long gain. And this one's against the Cardinals. Beasley is slot left, and it looks like man coverage. There's a dude lined up right over him. But if we let it roll, that guy blitzes, and it turns into zone. And yeah, that's good. That's what we want. That's what we're used to with a slot machine like Cole Beasley. So it's a vast oversimplification, but it's definitely true that the Steelers play mostly man on defense. And here, Beasley is left slot, and he's not running against air, right? He's got Avery Williamson on him. And you can see, as we let it roll, Beasley runs the arrow route. I mean, he's less wide open, that's for sure. And as a result, it winds up being overthrown. And I say it's an oversimplification because obviously, against man, he can still be good. Beasley's really quick. And right slot, it's man coverage. It's Avery Williamson again. Let it roll. And Beasley shakes and runs to the out, and he's wide open. But it's not overstating things. I'm going to say it right now. About 75% of Beasley's production this year has come against zone. And the Broncos may have started the season fancying themselves like a man coverage type team. Last week in Carolina with a depleted secondary with Will Parks having been cut by the Eagles. So Eagle fans are laughing that Will Parks is now playing slot corner for Denver. A whole lot of zone. On this play too, you can see Robbie Anderson goes into motion. Nobody follows him. Guess what? It's zone. And then the snap, and Curtis Samuel, second straight reception, finds a soft spot. That one is a true Cole Beasley special. And listen, I don't love paint-by-number analysis like this. I mean, no team is all man, no team is all zone. It's not so simple, but it's weighted a little bit, and I actually think there's going to be some room. We know no John Brown again, and that's pretty much been the case for this past up-and-down month for Beasley. I think he's going to be open, and we all know Stephon Diggs had that huge game against the Steelers, and part of that was just him beating man coverage, and I don't think the defense playing Stephon Diggs the next week is going to just put one guy on Stephon. Like, I just think it's going to be zone. There's going to be extra attention paid to Diggs. There's going to be openings for Beasley. And I think we go back to his 6 to 10 targets.
All right. That sounds good. Unless people don't apply logic to guarding Diggs, and then who knows what happens.
That's fair. I mean, it is tough. It's tough. If one receiver is going to get 180 yards, it's not that likely another one's going to get 100. It's fair.
So, play Cole Beasley? ? No, you've got him in there in the flex, and you're not going to play him on DraftKings because it's a Saturday game. So good luck in all your playoff matchups.
Correct.
But speaking of DraftKings, we have a fun little contest that we talk about here every week, and I want to say how people did last week. So congrats to B Savage 10, who won the whole thing.
Can I just admit, that's a friend of mine, Ben, who's done work for me in the past, and sweet guy, and he texted me when he won. That's well done, Ben.
Well done, Ben. In 1 week, you won more than I have doing this contest all season long. Even though I've cashed a lot, that one winning, I'm sure, topped it. And then,
did you cash last week?
I didn't. You were very close. I was nowhere in the neighborhood. 2
points. And Adam Thielen did nothing. I had a some good, like, smart, under the radar type picks, and then my spend money on Adam Thielen. That was brilliant.
Well, my entire team was Packers, so I got what I deserved. It was fine.
I mean, Rodgers and Adams, I had them too.
Right. It's only
Yeah.
karmic for me because of this stuff here on the wall. Yeah. But
indeed.
I also want to say congrats because we're doing this chunk to win these fun Skype calls with you. Well, not these, not public, private. You get to talk some crap with Chris.
Even better. Yeah, you'll get the real story behind stuff when we Skype. That's true, actually.
So Clint MM is in the lead right now at 383 points. So congrats to Clint for being
cool.
lead,
yeah, and the whole point is right. I mean, we're talking about weeks 13 through 16. So hopefully, if you've already played 13 and 14, make sure you play 15 and 16 because it can all add up. You know, you can have a good week and suddenly jump in the standings for sure. The winner of that 4-week chunk is going to win a one-on-one Skype with me, like you said, and I think you've put a link somewhere for me to point to that I don't know where to go, but somewhere. And that's how you find our private contest. It's not searchable, so don't go to DraftKings and search, where's the Harris contest? Click the link. That's the way in. And if you haven't joined DraftKings, get the app, go to DraftKings.com, use the promo code HarrisTube, and that'll get you a free contest that you can use on our contest. It's a $5 contest. Pretty fun.
Yep. Come play with us. Single entry. It's a great way. And like the link is below. Click it. Join. Also, you did a live Q&A this week. Yeah. We're doing a little dance here pointing to links.
No, I was saying you mean the link isn't over here? The link isn't like okay.
I think if you spin the phone, maybe it moves. Someone in the Q&A asked, they were just kind of curious where they stood because if you're not in the top 10, I'm not showing it. You guys could tweet at me. I can look it up and tell you. Like, happy to do that. So hit me up on
post it in the comments. Yeah.
Yes. There you go. Okay.
You can post in the comments too.
So here we go. Week 15, we're going to go quarterback on through. And I can't even imagine how you built a lineup with Rodgers not being available. He's on Saturday. Your Wubby's gone. What are you doing?
At least you're paying attention. There's only two big guys here, and I picked one of them. I have Lamar Jackson, 7,500. I paid up. I have you're going to marvel at my studs and duds, but I do have Lamar Jackson coming off the big outing going against Jacksonville.
I didn't pay up. I went with Jalen Hurts, 5,900.
Yeah, I mean, he's cheap and he'll run. He does have the cheat code, and if he runs for a touchdown, all the better. Other quarterbacks, you want to do those? Those are the other considered. You can definitely look at Ryan Tannehill. My concern, as you'll see in a second, is that it's not so much a throwing game against the Lions as it is a running game. Hint, hint about what's coming from my running back. The Jets are extremely vulnerable to the pass, so a Rams stack was something I considered. You definitely could consider Jared Goff. And Phillip Rivers, he's actually been kind of good. I mean, not just statistically. He's actually played pretty well in December, and the Houston matchup does not scare me.
Yeah, it's the exact same cost as Jalen Hurts. I feel attacked, Chris. What are you doing? I've named one thing and you're cutting me down already.
No, I have Hurts ranked higher than Phillip Rivers. I do. In my season-long ranks for quarterbacks, I do. You've chosen well.
All right, so hint at running back. I think you gave away. Where'd you go?
I went with Derrick Henry. I just think this is lining up for him to humiliate me by ending December like brilliantly well, and I might as well get a piece of it while my humiliation continues. Because these matchups are unbelievable. Like, he's finding these incredibly soft run defenses, and I think he's going to crush Detroit.
And then you also played Jeff Wilson.
Oh, right. Yeah. So my other one, and I have a running back at flex also, but Wilson's the next most expensive. And so what this is coming down to is simply not having money and looking for value plays. And as of our recording this, we don't know what Raheem Mostert's status is. But if he plays, frankly, against the Cowboys, boy, I don't mind. I don't mind Wilson anyway. I think Wilson's been getting lots of the red zone work, lots of goal line work, scored a touchdown last week. He also fumbled last week, but didn't get punished for it. If Mostert's out, I think Wilson's almost a must. Like, it would be hard to get away from Wilson. But even if Mostert's in at 5,100, I'm okay.
Yeah, I had him in. I didn't end up keeping him in my flex, but I had him in there. And I just kind of budgeted to make sure I have enough money to pivot, because if we find out Mostert's out, I think he's going to be chalky, and I want to get in on that.
Yeah.
I played Henry too. I mean, it's just such a great matchup. It doesn't matter. That's 9,500. I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And then I played Jonathan Taylor, so 7,200.
On my honorable mention list, I have a bunch of honorable mention guys. I'm going to refer to my list here. They're all below 6,000. There's just a ton of guys in the 5,000 to 6,000 range that I'm glad we're putting all the names up, because I really think you could probably create several variations on lineups where I'm cool with some, above 5,000 is not exactly cheap, but we know from our experience it's not tons. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, 5,900. J.D. McKissick, I know last week was annoying, but Alex Smith didn't play in the second half. And you would want to make sure Alex Smith is playing. As of our recording this, we don't know that for sure, but you're going to get more than 4 targets from McKissick if Alex Smith plays an entire game. And David Johnson and Damian Harris, certainly on the skids. Their teams are not good. There are certainly varying mitigating factors. David Johnson's now back from COVID, but we're talking 5,100 for pure workload guys, like 80% type workload guys. Certainly could work out.
Yeah. All right. Where'd you go for wide receiver?
So I did spend on one more. I had like sort of mid-range money available. I'm trying to think where he fits, like 7 or 8 among wide receivers. I have Robert Woods as part of that, trying to play against the Jet defense, which Cam Akers is going to be a real popular play, I think, because he's coming off a giant workload. Finally, maybe the whole thing is kind of congealing around one running back. Again, seems like it's done that in the past, but the Jets are just a little harder to run against. So I'm going to say Robert Woods at 6,800. He's the only one I paid for. I think T.Y. Hilton is going to be as chalky as anything. If you made me guess which receiver is most owned this week, I'm going to say Hilton at 5,500. The last 2 weeks clearly have been a lot better than that price. And, you're taking the chance, but given that I like Rivers, I guess I also like Hilton. And then I'm out of money. And I don't know what the Dolphins have in terms of health at their receivers yet, but that's okay because this guy's kind of not a receiver. But I have Lynn Bowden at 3,600, just about the cheapest player you can get that's still functional.
Yeah, 3,600. Even if he's not functional, it didn't cost you that much, so I can't hate on that. T.Y. Hilton is chalky. I played T.Y. as well. So if the basis is the two of us is chalky, then yeah, 100%.
100% owned. Yeah, 100% owned.
I went with
crazy. What a combo.
I played Ayuk for 6,300.
Yep.
And then I had to save a little money, not as much as you. I don't feel great about it, but I did CeeDee Lamb at 4,500. I was just looking in that neighborhood for, I'm not counting on the workload here as much as just if he pops, he pops, and he's a good player at 4,500.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, you're getting a good player, and it's a terrible, terrible situation. Ayuk was on my also ran list. Cooper Kupp was on my also ran list because he's actually cost more than Robert Woods, even though Woods has been a little bit more productive lately. But I think they both have a chance to go off. There was a point in this lineup when I was building it that I had Goff, Woods, and Kupp because I think the Jets are that vulnerable against the pass. And then if you want to go cheap, Brandon Cooks is back. Or we think he's back. I guess we don't know for sure. But Kiki Cutie's still 5,300. And I mean, as a value play, you could do worse.
Hey, if I could detour for a sec, you mentioned, because I don't watch a ton of Jets, I'm sure that's shocking. But they're harder to run against. Like if you look at the Harris index, everything is green except run. Is it just that, are they legit harder to run against, or are they just so easy to beat elsewhere that who cares?
Well, the Harris Index, which people can find at harrisfootball.com, that's pure math. And you're right. That wouldn't tell us whether path A or path B that you just described is true. All it's going to tell us is what the actual numbers have been. To watch them is to see a pretty good defensive line. That's about the only thing that works is the defensive line. So I'll say they are legitimately a little bit harder to run against, but they're not impossible. If the Rams came out and said, we're going to try to do to them what we did to the Patriots and just absolutely run it down their throats with tons of counter and tons of, pre-snap, like student body left, student body right type motion, I wouldn't be shocked if it worked.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed that because I thought about Akers going into it like, ooh, Jets matchup, and thought I could go elsewhere. Like I've seen that red mark on the Harris Index, but I was curious to know more.
Yep.
What did you do for tight end? Did you end up punting because it's tight end?
No, I stacked Mr. Lamar Jackson. with his good buddy Mark Andrews. We know there's no Marquise Brown for this Jacksonville game, and I think everybody who watched that Monday night game realizes what makes that passing offense go to the extent that it ever goes. Jackson's certainly not a particularly good thrower, but to the extent that it ever goes, it seems like that's Mark Andrews.
All right, so I paid down and went with Dalton Schultz because he's 3,200, and he's been getting.
And you like the name.
Yeah,
and you want
I want Dalton to Dalton.
No, you like the Dalton.
No, he hasn't gotten less than 6 points over the last 7 weeks, and at that price, like I'll take a neutral there. But I will be tempted.
I have a couple of. Oh, sorry, I have a couple of cheap guys.
Hit me.
Tight end that I didn't pay down, but I could see your buddy Cole Kmet, your Cole Kmet jersey's in the mail. I know. The new Bears tight end, he's okay, and we're not going to get Mike Gesicki for the Dolphins. He hurt his shoulder pretty badly. He's going to miss this week. Adam Shaheen, I talked about him as a potential waiver ad on the Monday YouTube channel, and I like there's that Durham Smythe guy is there, and you could sort of get it split up a little bit. But I Shaheen's the athlete, and he got a red zone target last week. He's $3,000. I don't mind taking a chance on him.
So I looked. It's too early to know. We're recording Thursday, but if I was feeling really frisky, I thought I might try and play Kittle if he comes back. They're talking about activating him. But he's a lot more expensive. 5,300. But
yeah.
But if he comes,
he'll never be that cheap
exactly.
Again, obviously,
if they activate it, you get a little difference. I was looking at Kittle for that. I might change.
I mean, 100%. I get it. I don't think he's going to be back. That would be crazy. It seems crazy. But maybe he's perfectly healthy, and they're like, well, otherwise he's going to sit in the stands and make faces, which they always show him in the stands making faces during these Niner games. So my flex, I have Leonard Fournette at 4,500. That's another one. As soon as and if we get the official word that Ronald Jones is definitely out, which I think he is, right? I mean, he's all but out as of our recording this. Fournette's going to be really chalky too at 4,500. Of course, we can get the trick and we get LaShawn McCoy, or they activate Keyshawn Vaughn and they want to see him for a game or whatever. But I think it'll be Fournette mostly.
I went with Dobbins, who you mentioned already in your consider 5,900. But I also looked at Gus Edwards because he's 4,400. So I'm not expecting him to outperform it, but he's getting that kind of veteran starter. At least last week he did. And at 4,400, if it frees up some money, that's a good price.
Indeed. And then I took the Jags. So I have Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, and the Jags defense, which makes all the sense in the world, David Huet.
Well, I also took the Jags, but I'm not going against them, so I'm fine with it. But I'm fine paying the cheapest defense anyway. I don't care.
Me too. I don't.
So everyone can play with us. Click the link. Join for week 15. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button. Write a comment. Tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on. And of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.